The frigid winds of Valtorix howled outside the cockpit as Lieutenant Marcus Vale guided his ship, the Nighthawk, through the turbulent atmosphere. The mining colony below, a sprawl of metal against the barren landscape, was barely visible through the swirling dust storms. "Visuals are a no-go," Marcus muttered, flipping switches with practiced ease. "We're flying blind, folks." Beside him, his second-in-command, Sergeant Jonah Reed, scanned the instrument panels. "Radar's sketchy at best, but I've got the beacon from the colony. We're close." In the back, their team engineer, Corporal Leo Zhang, was securing their gear. "Let's hope they've kept the coffee hot," he said, trying to lighten the mood. Marcus smirked, but his eyes remained fixed on the controls. "Focus on the mission, Zhang. We're not here for the hospitality." The ship shuddered as it descended, the lights of the colony finally piercing through the gloom. They landed with a thud that rattled their teeth. Before the dust had settled, Marcus was already unbuckling his harness. "Reed, Zhang, gear up. We're heading straight to the admin building. They're expecting us." The trio disembarked into the biting wind, their boots crunching on the gravelly soil. The colony was eerily quiet, with only the occasional flicker of lights in the distance breaking the monotony of the landscape. As they approached the administration building, a figure wrapped in a heavy coat emerged to meet them. He extended a gloved hand to Marcus. "Lieutenant Vale, I'm Administrator Nolan. We appreciate the quick response." Marcus shook his hand, noting the worry etched on Nolan's face. "Administrator, give us the sitrep. What exactly did your miners dig up?" Nolan led them inside, where a hologram of the mining site was displayed in the central conference room. "2 weeks ago, we hit a subterranean chamber. Not made by us, or by anything human." He pointed to an image of a smooth metallic surface, covered in symbols that shimmered with an otherworldly light. Jonah leaned forward, intrigued. "Looks alien. Any idea what it's for?" Nolan shook his head. "It started to activate, once exposed. Machines we can't identify, energy spikes. Then the storms worsened. We contained the area, but the effects are spreading." Marcus exchanged a glance with his team. "You need us to shut it down." "Exactly," Nolan confirmed. "Every attempt to interact with it has failed. We don't have the expertise." Leo frowned, his mind racing. "We'll need to see the artifacts firsthand. Assess the tech, find a way to interface safely." Marcus nodded. "Show us to the site, Nolan. Time is not on our side." The group geared up, heading out into the storm once more. As they trudged through the howling wind, Marcus pulled his collar tighter around his neck. "Keep your eyes peeled and your weapons ready. We don't know what triggered the defense mechanisms down there." Reed checked his rifle, his expression grim. "Let's hope it's something we can fight." As they neared the excavation site, the ground vibrated under their feet, a deep hum echoing through the air. The chamber awaited them, a gaping maw in the earth, beckoning them into the unknown. Marcus paused at the edge, surveying the alien landscape. "All right, let's find out what's down there. Stay sharp, stay close. We're in uncharted territory now." With that, they descended into the depths, the shadows swallowing them whole as the wind continued to wail above. Descending into the alien chamber was like entering the heart of an ancient beast. The walls pulsed with a faint rhythmic light, illuminating the path ahead in an eerie glow. The air was thick with an unidentifiable energy that tingled against their skin. Marcus led the way, his weapon drawn, with Jonah and Leo flanking him. Their lights cut through the darkness, revealing intricate patterns carved into the metallic surfaces. "This is incredible," Leo whispered, his voice echoing slightly in the vast chamber. "The technology here, it's centuries beyond us." Jonah nodded, his gaze locked on the surroundings. "And potentially dangerous. Keep an eye out for any security measures." As they ventured deeper, the chamber opened up into a vast atrium. In the center, a large crystalline structure throbbed with light, its core a swirling mass of energy. Marcus halted the team with a raised hand. "Positions. Leo, scan that structure. Jonah, perimeter check." While Leo set up his portable scanning equipment, Jonah circled the atrium, his steps cautious. Marcus approached the crystalline structure slowly, mesmerized by its pulsating core. Suddenly, a sharp, siren-like sound pierced the air, and the ground beneath them vibrated. "Lieutenant, we've got incoming!" Jonah shouted, his voice tense. From the shadows emerged sleek, metallic creatures. They moved with purpose and intelligence, their limbs fluid and their surfaces reflecting the chamber's eerie light. "Defensive positions!" Marcus commanded, aiming his rifle at the approaching figures. Leo, anything you can use to shut them down? Leo was furiously tapping on his device. I'm trying to find a frequency that will disrupt them. The creatures advanced steadily, unheeding of the warning shots Jonah fired into the air. Marcus took a deep breath and opened fire. The bullets seemed to slow them but not stop them entirely. Keep them at bay, Marcus ordered, retreating towards Leo's position. Leo, any luck? Just a sec. Leo's device beeped loudly and he grinned. Got it. He adjusted a dial, and a high-pitched frequency filled the air. The creatures halted, their bodies twitching erratically before they collapsed onto the ground, inert. Jonah lowered his rifle, breathing heavily. Nice work, Leo. What did you do? Overloaded their sensory inputs, Leo explained, wiping sweat from his brow. It won't hold them off forever, but it should give us some breathing room. Marcus surveyed the deactivated creatures. We need to understand why they activated. This technology isn't just protecting itself. It's reacting to us. Nolan, who had been observing from a safe distance, approached cautiously. There are legends among the older colonies, he said slowly. They speak of guardians built to protect sacred sites. This might be one of them. Guardians or not, we need to find the control center, Marcus decided. If we can understand how to communicate with the system, maybe we can shut it down without further incidents. The team regrouped and continued their exploration, deeper into the chamber. Every step took them further into the unknown, but with each discovery, they pieced together the puzzle of the ancient alien defense system. The journey was fraught with risks, but Marcus knew that understanding these guardians was the key to protecting not just Valtryx, but potentially all human colonies that bordered the unknown. After their narrow escape from the Guardians, Marcus, Jonah, and Leo continued to delve deeper into the alien structure. The atmosphere grew denser, the air charged with a palpable tension, as if the very fabric of the chamber was aware of their intrusion. Jonah kept his rifle ready, his eyes scanning for any further signs of hostility. This place is like a maze, he muttered, checking the mapping device intermittently to ensure they weren't walking in circles. Leo was equally focused, his scanner humming softly as he logged every piece of alien technology they encountered. Each segment of this structure is more complex than the last. It's not just advanced, it's adaptive. Marcus led them through a narrow passageway that opened into a large, dome-shaped room. The ceiling was lined with what looked like dormant energy conduits. Look at this, he said, pointing upwards. It seems like this whole place could be powered up at a moment's notice. As they ventured across the room, Marcus noticed the subtle changes in the wall's glow. The structure is reacting to our presence. We need to find the control center before it fully activates. Their communication device crackled to life, Nolan's voice breaking through with urgency. Lieutenant, do you copy? We have a situation. Marcus pressed the communicator. Go ahead, Nolan. There's movement on the outskirts of the colony. We've spotted unidentified ships entering the atmosphere. They don't seem friendly. Jonah's grip on his rifle tightened. Looks like we've got company, and I bet they're not here for the scenery. Marcus's mind raced as he pieced together their dwindling options. Nolan, keep the colony on high alert and prepare for an evacuation if necessary. We'll hurry things up on our end. Disconnecting, Marcus turned to his team. We need to speed this up. Leo, any leads on the control center? Leo pointed to a corridor marked with symbols that resonated with the data he'd collected. This way, the patterns suggest it's the neural hub of the structure. As they hurried through the indicated corridor, the structure seemed to awaken further, the conduits on the ceiling pulsing with more frequency. They arrived at a sealed door, unlike any they had seen before. It was smoother and almost seemed to pulse with life. This must be it, Leo said, examining the panel next to the door. He worked quickly, interfacing his device with the alien system. After a tense minute, the door slid open with a hiss, revealing a room bathed in a soft blue light. Inside, the control center was dominated by a large, holographic display showing the structure and various energy outputs. Marcus approached the display, trying to make sense of the alien symbols. We need to figure out how to communicate with this system, Marcus said, his mind racing as he touched the holographic interface. The symbols shifted under his touch, responding but not revealing their secrets. Suddenly, the structure trembled, a deep groan echoing through the halls as if in response to an external force. They're attacking the colony, Jonah said grimly, checking the feed from his scout drone. We've got to hold them off until we can get this thing under control. Marcus nodded, determination setting in. Leo, keep working on this. Jonah, let's prepare defenses. If we can't shut it down, we'll use this place as a fortress. Together, they began to strategize, using the control center's layout to their advantage. Marcus knew that the survival of the colony, and possibly much more, depended on their next actions. As they set their plan into motion, the storm outside grew fiercer, mirroring the conflict that was about to unfold at the heart of an ancient alien legacy. As the imminent threat loomed over the colony, Marcus, Jonah, and Leo set about fortifying the control center, transforming the ancient alien structure into a makeshift fortress. The control center's displays flickered with alien symbols, offering cryptic clues into the operation of the facility. Leo, deep in concentration, worked tirelessly to decipher the controls, hoping to manipulate the building's defenses. Outside, the winds of Valterix howled, masking the distant sounds of the approaching Claraxian fleet. The alien invaders had chosen this moment of vulnerability to strike, hoping to claim the mysterious technologies for themselves. Marcus monitored the holographic displays, tracking the enemy's approach. "They're fast. We have less than an hour before they breach the perimeter," he noted, his voice steady but tense. Jonah checked the ammunition and defensive setups. "We'll give them a warm welcome. I've rigged the corridors with traps and positioned automated turrets at strategic points. Let's see how they handle a bit of resistance." Meanwhile, Leo's breakthrough on the control panel elicited a small cheer. "I've got access to some of the internal defense mechanisms," he exclaimed, his fingers dancing over the alien interface. "I can't control everything, but it's enough to give us an edge." Marcus nodded, pleased. "Activate anything you can. Make this place as inhospitable as possible." As the Claraxian ships began their descent, ominous shadows against the stormy skies, the ground defenses of the alien structure sprang to life. Beams of concentrated energy shot up from the surface, striking several of the smaller crafts and sending them spiraling down in flames. "The external defenses are holding them off, but it won't last long," Marcus observed, watching the battle unfold on the screens. Jonah peered through a fortified window, his expression grim. "They're deploying ground troops. Looks like they don't want to risk more ships." The first wave of Claraxian soldiers hit the outer defenses hard. Explosions rocked the perimeter as the traps Jonah set were triggered, halting the initial charge. However, the alien soldiers quickly adapted, using their advanced technology to dismantle the traps and push forward. "We need to hold them at the choke points," Marcus instructed, leading his team to the primary entrance. They took positions behind barricades, weapons ready. As the door was breached, a fierce battle ensued. The narrow entrance funneled the Claraxians into a deadly kill zone. Marcus and Jonah fired relentlessly, each shot calculated and precise. Leo continued to manipulate the internal defenses, closing doors and activating security drones to flank the enemy. The Claraxians, though technologically advanced, were unprepared for the ferocity and tactical acumen of the human defenders. Their numbers dwindled under the relentless assault. "Keep pressing! They're faltering!" Marcus shouted over the din of gunfire and exploding circuits. After hours of intense combat, the Claraxian forces began to retreat, their initial confidence shattered by the unexpected resistance. Marcus watched them go, knowing this was only a temporary reprieve. "They'll be back, and in greater numbers," Jonah said, reloading his rifle. Marcus turned to Leo. "How are we looking on controlling more of the defenses?" Leo wiped sweat from his brow. "I think I can do better now. I've started to understand the system's logic. Give me some time, and I might just turn this place into a fortress they can't breach." With a resolute nod, Marcus clapped Leo on the shoulder. "Do it. We'll hold the line until you're ready. This is our ground now, and we're not giving it up without a fight." As the storm raged on outside, the humans inside the alien fortress prepared for the next wave. Marcus knew this was just the beginning of their struggle to control the ancient powers they had awoken. After successfully repelling the initial Claraxian assault, Marcus and his team had a brief moment of respite to regroup and bolster their defenses within the alien structure. The control center, now humming with partially deciphered alien technology, was the epicenter of their operation. Marcus stood before the massive holographic display, studying the schematics of the alien fortress, trying to anticipate the enemy's next move. Leo, with his newfound understanding of the alien systems, manipulated the defense mechanisms with increasing confidence. "I think I can access deeper layers of the control network. There might be more powerful systems we haven't even touched yet," he explained, his fingers gliding over the luminescent controls. Jonah, meanwhile, patrolled the perimeter, ensuring their defenses were as tight as possible. We've got the advantage now, but those Claraxians won't take this lying down. They're regrouping for another push, he reported over the comms. Marcus nodded. Leo, do what you can to strengthen our position. Jonah, make sure every entry point is covered. We can't afford any surprises. As Leo delved deeper into the alien network, the structure around them seemed to pulse with life, its responses becoming more synchronized with his commands. Suddenly, the central chamber shuddered, the lights flickering as if responding to an unseen force. I've done something, Leo said, a mix of excitement and concern in his voice. What kind of something? Marcus asked, sharply, moving to join Leo at the console. I think I found a way to tap into the main energy core. If I'm right, we can power up the entire fortress, maybe even control it fully, Leo responded, his eyes never leaving the screen. Proceed, Marcus instructed, watching the display intently. As Leo activated the core, a deep, resonant hum filled the chamber, and the walls lit up with intricate, flowing patterns. The energy output increased exponentially, and the air crackled with power. Suddenly, the Claraxian forces launched a furious assault, their figures emerging from the storm like phantoms. Explosions rocked the outer defenses, and the sound of gunfire echoed through the corridors. They're not holding back, Jonah shouted, firing from behind a barricade. Looks like they brought bigger guns this time. Marcus grabbed his own weapon, joining Jonah at the front line. Hold them off. Leo, we need that power now. Back at the control center, Leo's hands moved frantically. Almost there. Just a bit more. With a final push, he fully activated the core. The structure vibrated with unleashed energy, and a wave of force emanated from the walls, knocking back the advancing Claraxians. Outside, the Claraxians staggered under the sudden onslaught of alien power, their advance halted. Marcus and Jonah took advantage of the disarray, picking off the invaders one by one. This is it, push them back, Marcus yelled, leading a countercharge. The human defenders surged forward, bolstered by the structure's energy. In the control room, Leo watched as the holograms displayed the shifting tides of the battle. The alien systems were now fully under human control, responding to his commands with precision and power. We've got full control of the fortress, he announced over the comms, relief washing over his face. Marcus, amidst the chaos of battle, allowed himself a brief smile. Excellent work, Leo. Keep it running. Let's finish this. With the alien fortress now an extension of their will, Marcus, Jonah, and Leo coordinated a devastating counteroffensive. The Claraxians, overwhelmed by the unexpected mastery and might of the human-led defenses, began a full retreat. As the last of the invaders disappeared into the storm, the silence that followed was profound. They had secured the fortress, at least for now. Marcus looked around at the alien chamber, its walls pulsing softly in the aftermath, and knew they had just scratched the surface of its secrets. They had defended their ground, but the real journey into the heart of darkness was just beginning. In the aftermath of their victorious defense, the alien fortress on Valterix, once a mysterious and threatening presence, had become a symbol of human ingenuity and courage. Marcus, Jonah, and Leo gathered in the control center, exhausted but triumphant, surrounded by the pulsating lights and humming machinery that had saved them. The Claraxians have withdrawn to orbit, Jonah reported, checking the radar readings on the display. It looks like they're regrouping, but they took heavy losses. They won't be trying that again soon. Leo, still stationed at the control panel, nodded in agreement. With full control over the fortress defenses now, we can keep an eye on their movements. This place, it's more than just a fortress, it's a powerhouse. Marcus, feeling the weight of their responsibility, looked out over the control room. The alien technology, once an enigmatic puzzle, now seemed almost familiar under Leo's expert handling. We need to decide what to do next. We've got a powerful tool at our fingertips. This could change everything for humanity out here on the frontier. Jonah, leaning against a console, wiped the sweat from his brow. We could use it to enforce peace in the sector. Show the Claraxians that it's not worth the effort to mess with human colonies. Leo turned from his console, his face serious. Or we could look for more of these structures. If there are others out there, finding them could give us a real edge. Marcus considered their options, knowing the decision was his to make. For now, we hold. We've got enough on our plate learning to control this place and keeping it safe from the Claraxians. But you're right, Leo. We should start preparing for the possibility of more discoveries like this. As the team set about solidifying their hold on the fortress, Marcus sent a detailed report back to Earth Command, outlining their victory and the potential of the alien technology. The response was swift and enthusiastic. Additional support and resources were promised. Humanity was eager to leverage their newfound advantage. Weeks turned into months. The fortress, once a looming threat, was transformed into a hub of human activity. Scientists and military strategists alike flocked to Valtorix to study the alien technology and fortify the defenses further. Marcus, now officially appointed as the commander of the fortress, oversaw the transformation with a sense of pride but also a growing unease. The power at their disposal was immense, potentially dangerous. He ensured strict protocols and safeguards were in place. One evening, as the twin suns of Valtorix set, casting long shadows over the landscape, Marcus stood at the top of the fortress, looking out over the planet. The storms had calmed, and peace had settled over the region, but the silence was thoughtful, almost cautious. Jonah joined him, following his gaze into the horizon. "You ever think about what we've started here, Marcus? This could be the beginning of a new era for humanity." Marcus nodded slowly. "I do think about it, and it worries me. With great power comes great responsibility. We've opened a door we can't close, but it's our duty to ensure it's used for the right reasons." The men stood in contemplative silence, aware of the burden they carried. The fortress not only represented a military stronghold, but also a beacon of human capability and the moral dilemmas that accompanied their advancements. As night fell, the stars blanketing the sky, the fortress hummed softly beneath their feet, a reminder of the alien mysteries it held and the human will that now directed its power. Marcus felt a profound connection to the path they had chosen, filled with both promise and peril. This was humanity's stand, not just for survival, but for a rightful place among the stars, guarding the balance between discovery and responsibility.